G'day guys, welcome to another layout. This one is using a cut file from PEARTREE cut files that I purchased myself, and I love it. It's called Forever is Made Up of Nows. And how important is it to remember that in the times that we've got? Do you know what I mean? Like the pandemic, and then this year's had a few bits and pieces in it that just, kind of tests you a little bit. So I'm just throwing it out there. Sometimes we just need to live in the moment. So that's why I use this cut file. I'm scrapbooking some photos of my girls. They had a sister's day out with Taylor, and they had been to the movies, and they went and got something to eat, and then they went to the park, and Taylor is fantastic at taking photos for me. I was at home working, so which is totally fine because they like to do their little sisterly thing, which is fantastic. So I'm doing something different in backing, and I'm using inverted commas there, backing this cut file. Now, yes, I'm using acetate, and I'm creating a shaker pocket, all that sort of thing, but I put it together a little bit differently. And when the photos don't really do it justice, and I've tried every angle to sort of show you that it really does work, it looks good. So hopefully, if you click on the link in the description below, you can go over to the Facebook group or to my Instagram, and you can see the photos up close. And I take a lot of different photos, so you can really sort of get in there and see what's going on in it. Now, I've used my Distress Oxide. This one is Mermaid Lagoon, and I love blue and brown together. I like pink and browns. I like blue and brown. I love those colors together, yellow and brown. So I was feeling blue because in the photos, the kids are playing on this swing thing, and it's like a netted swing kind of thing. And it was blue. So I decided, you know what, this is going to work. So as you can see, that's the cut file there, and I absolutely love how it looks. And what else can I tell you about this layout? Now, at this point, all I was really focused on doing is getting the shaker pocket title. If you're new to my channel, I'm letting you know this. This is what I like to do on my channel. I like to show you different ways that you might like one part of the video, you might like, I might show you something slightly different. This one, I'm showing you that you don't necessarily have to back a cut file how you've traditionally seen them backed. You can do different things with it. And that's what I try and show you in my videos. I like to use this as a bit of a teaching platform, and just to show you, not necessarily every video is going to show you a new technique, but maybe it's a color scheme you haven't seen before. Maybe it's a way of backing a shaker pocket that you haven't seen before. Maybe it's using textures that you've never thought of using before. Things like that. And just to keep our scrapbooking memory saving process both creatively and in a way that we can, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that I want to give you ideas to keep your pages fresh, keep the different ideas, get your scrapbooking to evolve, to maybe you've not been game enough to try mixed media, and I break it down in a way. I show you the good, the bad, and the ugly. If I stuff something up, I leave it in the video so you can see it as well. When it comes to stuff ups, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments here, but honestly, it can be anything from a spelling mistake that is so obvious once you watch the video back, but I've completely forgotten about it and I've overlooked it, because sometimes that's what happens. When I'm videoing, I'm just gluing the acetate to the very front of the cut file, by the way. I'm using my art glitter glue. That stuff glues anything to anything. It is the best glue. Yes, it is a little bit dearer. I apologize, my dog is having a moment. So it's all right. I didn't close my door because it's early in the morning, and you know, I shouldn't get too many interruptions at this time of the day. So just a chihuahua or two. Now, when I back my cut files, I keep saying backing cut files, when I create a shaker pocket element, you attach the acetate. Now, my acetate is not heat sensitive one. It's not, you know, because I know you can get a lawn fawn one that is, it won't shrink and buckle when you add heat to it. If you're wanting to do maybe some embossing or something like that, you can do that on it. You can do, actually, is that acetate or is that vellum? I'm not sure. But I just buy the cheap acetate from Crafts Online. I think it costs me about $5 maybe for about 5 or 10 sheets. It's not very much at all. And that way, you know, I love making shaker pocket elements on a page, especially using my Cricut, because it just makes it so easy. Now, what I did with this cut file, you can see me going around. I don't make you watch all of this, guys. Don't stress. I've left it in because it's part of the process, and I don't like the whole smoke and mirrors thing when it comes to YouTube videos. I don't like sort of cutting and editing and then you think it took 5 seconds to do and it didn't. It takes longer than that. I'm using my thin 1/8 strips of double-sided tape. This tape is super, super sticky. Now, FYI, if you have got a Cricut mat, which obviously you do because you just cut this cut file on it, once you put the acetate on there, stick it down to the green mat, because that will make I figured it out halfway through, and if you stick it down to the mat, it doesn't slide all over the place, and it's much easier to get your foam strips on there. Now, I did not use my anti-static pouch in this particular shaker pocket. I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with this situation because I hate how it leaves it looking powdery. I don't like that. I like it to be crisp and shiny and sparkly. So I throw caution to the wind and just put it in there, and what I get, I get. And as Tim Holt says, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. So that's exactly what I do here. I'm just going through. These are my little containers that I got from Lincraft, and they were only a couple of bucks, and it keeps all my sequins pretty much in the color zones that I would normally use them in, and it allows me to have lots of different packets of sequins, and I can make up my own sequin mix, and it totally works. If you want to get your sequins cheaper, if you're in Australia, wait for Lincraft to have a 40% off sale. Alternatively, Spotlight does have some sequins. Crafts Online has sequins, and I think you can get sequin mixes from other scrapbooking places. I'm not too sure. I have to have a look, actually, and if I can find somewhere that's got a reasonable quantity to the price, that's my big thing. I hate paying sort of $6 or $7 for a tiny little 5-gram bag. You know, that to me does my head in. So that makes this craft activity insanely expensive, and I'm all about showing you different ways of doing things that are a little bit cheaper. For instance, on this particular layout, and what I do on a lot of my layouts is, instead of buying ephemera packets and all that sort of thing, and which they are wonderful, do not get me wrong, they are wonderful, and occasionally I do buy them, especially if I know, like for the Cocoa Vanilla Happy Days collection, I knew I wanted lots and lots of those florals and those flowers and bits, so I bought the ephemera packet. sometimes you don't need to. Sometimes you can create all the texture you want in the background. Now here I'm creating my, sorry about that, I just yawned, gee whiz, I've only just got out of bed. You'd think I was wide awake, wouldn't you? So I'm creating my, I've lost the word. What's it called? It's the border around your photo. It's called, I can't, my brain's not thinking. Let me know below. What is it? I'm creating in my background. So I've put my ink down and I've used the transparent texture paste from Ranger, and it adds texture, but it doesn't, it's going to be water reactive with the ink I just put on there. So it's going to take up a little bit of the color, but it adds texture and it's a matte finish. So you've really got to sort of look and go, oh, there's something on there. And actually, I like my pages to be a little bit interactive and make you want to touch it, make you want to, like this one here, I'm using my sprays. I know not everyone likes to use their sprays like this because it gets everywhere, but if you've got a big 12 by 12 stencil like this, how cool does that look? I mean, truly. That just adds light bits, dark bits, blended bits together. It's visual texture without the bulk. And that is something that I really struggle with when I'm creating. I mean, I create at least 6 layouts a week. And unfortunately, you know, it's true. If you add too many layers of cardstock or too many layers of in your background, or when you're backing your photos like this, if you're adding 2 or 3 or 4 layers of cardstock, that adds a lot of bulk and a lot of weight to the spine of your albums. And I don't know about you, but I don't have the Bank of England where the sun don't shine. So I just do not have the ability to be bulking my layouts up to the point that it creates too much weight. So I am minimizing that, and I'm trying to show you guys ways to create texture without bulk as well in as many layouts as I possibly can, so that you guys can save on buying extra albums because you can fit more layouts in there. Don't get me wrong, I love texture. Look at that. All I did was sprayed down some chipped sapphire and dragged my gesso brush through it, create texture within the spray that you're using. And what I realized after I'd sprayed my background is I needed my shaker pocket to be on the background. It needed to be on a different color so that it popped a little bit more. It wasn't quite so hard to see. And this totally worked. So here's an idea that costs you absolute pennies, and it gives you kind of like a paint swatch kind of look without going over your already water reactive sprays that you've put down. So you can just make it as big or as long or as thin. You can cut it in multiple pieces. All your choice. You do what you like. I'm just giving you an idea. And then see, it just looks like a dark blue splotch on the page. It's not anything particular. It's just a swatch. Yes, I'm covering up some of my background, but with mixed media, the one thing you have to remember, always, 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 go to town with it, because you're always going to cover it up with photos, titles, and ephemera. So I hope you love this layout. I hope this is giving you a few ideas, a few tips maybe. And I will have everything as usual. Always, I list everything I use, colors, everything in the description below, and any links, if I can link them for you, I will. I will have the link for the cut file, which is from PEARTREE cut files. And this is something I don't like doing, is doing little teeny tiny splats after the fact. It stresses me out, gives me anxiety. I don't like getting splotches where they're not needed or where they're not wanted. So that is my layout, guys. Now I'm going to give you the zoom in, and I'll do my plug. I'm trying to reach 2,000 subscribers by Christmas, if that's even possible. So if you'd like to give me a thumbs up if you got value from my video, and share my video if you have a place to share it. If you are on social media, share it out there so some of your friends might enjoy my channel as well. And leave me a comment, because that is my favorite time of the day, when the day draws to an end and I get to sit and read all your comments. I love it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back tomorrow with another video. Thanks for that, guys. Bye for now.